はい、DojoCast の、エピソード10です。結構間空いちゃったんですけれど、今回、せっかく10回目、2桁目やるんで、なんかこう、大物ゲストとか呼べたらいいなってずっと思ってたら半年ぐらい経っちゃったんですけど、ついに大物ゲストを呼べたので、今日はその人たちと、あと、いろんな他の人たちも含めてですね、話そうかなと思ってます。で、今回はちょっとスペシャルエピソードで、50分くらいに収められたらいいなと思ってるんですけど、日本語も多少入るかもしれないですけど、基本英語でやろうと思ってます。ちょっと、海外から大物ゲスト呼んじゃったんで、英語で、スペシャルゲストになると思います。皆さん、英語得意じゃない方もですね、ポッドキャストで何回も聞き直せると思うんで、ぜひ、英語の勉強だと思ってやるといいんじゃないかなと思います。Okay, I just introduced about the DojoCast.So, let's get started. Yep.
ごめんなさい、日本語は話せません。
that's
forgive me.
So, 今日のゲストはジェームズさんです。わー。
こんにちは。
ジェームズ・ウェルトンさん、コーダー道場を立ち上げた方のですね、コファウンダー、共同創業者の一人です。というわけで今日はこのコーダー道場の、共同創業者のジェームズさんとオープンソースカフェから配信してます。ぜひじゃあ英語で話していくので、ぜひ皆さんも頑張って聞いてみてください。Okay, so I think most of the people in the CoderDojo community knows of you, but in case, just introduce yourself.
Yeah, so my name is James Whelton. I'm from Cork in Ireland. I am a co-founder of CoderDojo, which started back in 2011. From Cork, it was co-founded maybe like just a few weeks after I finished high school. So I started programming at 9 and always wanted somewhere to go to learn how to program and make friends, but did it by myself. And then I met Bill and we had a lot of similar thinking, and CoderDojo was born out of that. So and then in the last few years I've been traveling around. I spent the last 4 years based out in the Middle East and working in e-commerce there, building different e-commerce platforms. And I'm a big Ruby and Rails person, but also like Node and Swift and React Native. And at the moment, I'm just taking some time out and traveling around. I've been in Japan for the last 2 months.
Cool. So, welcome, James, to the DojoCast. And not only James, we have the other special guests and from CoderDojo communities. So, じゃあ、三橋さんから順々に軽く自己紹介も。
三橋ゆうきです。中学3年で、コーダー道場、いろんなところ、基本的に東京を中心に巡っています。で、メンターになったり忍者になったり気分によって変えていますが、結構いろんな人と出会えて喋れるのが楽しくてコーダー道場に回ってます。はい、よろしくお願いします。
Do you know she's going around dojo to dojo, so expanding the network of friends and get the inspiration from any products in each CoderDojo community. So
Awesome.
Super cool. じゃあお願いします。
My name is Raina from Procade. I'm PR and marketing, especially global marketing in my company. Actually, Procade is the largest online programming learning platform in Japan. And actually, we just started to sponsor CoderDojo, every dojo in Japan. And of course, we'd like to expand this partnership globally, Ireland and Australia,
Yeah.
India. And we're so happy to see many children are having fun to learn the code with our service.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Did you try to use a Procade?
No, I feel like I need a proper introduction now.
It's really super cool to learn to programming. I think that Mihashi-san already learned Ruby and Ruby on Rails using Procade.
And RED tutorial too.
Oh yeah. Maybe you don't know the Ray tutorial is originally written by Michael Hartle, but there is official Japanese translation, and my company keep continuously translating it. So, and my company also have the partnership with Progate. So,
Progate everywhere.
じゃあ次は石原さんお願いします。
石原です。はい。コーダー道場調布を今は、やってて、で、ジェームスさんとは、6年ぶり。一番最初の、ここ OSS カフェで下北沢、今でもコーダー道場やってるんですけど、一番最初のコーダー道場を、やった時にジェームスさんにも来てもらって、で、その時にいろいろお話してもらってっていうので、6年ぶりですね。So, just to introduce myself, right now I'm champion of CoderDojo Chofu. But 6 years ago, we at this OSS cafe, we started, I think, first dojo in Japan and Asia. I think first dojo in Japan. So it's 6 years. So it's no. We met last year actually at the DojoCon.Yeah. So it's not 6年ぶりじゃないんですけど、OSS カフェで会ったのは6年ぶり。So we met
DojoCon.
Yeah, here after 6
Yeah, so many memories. So
6 years passed. Well, I mean, it was 6 years since Open Source Cafe.
Okay. So let's digging into from the past. I think there are many stories we have. But do you still remember what we are talking? When you first visited Tokyo to start CoderDojo in Japan?
Yeah. I remember it was a very important trip for me. Obviously, there's the first CoderDojo in Japan was massive, and because so much of the culture or themes of CoderDojo borrow from Japan, and for me personally, ever since I was young, I really loved Japan. I really liked the culture, and I was waiting for the opportunity to get to go there. So it was a very special time for me. Everything from the first dojo to going to Kamakura and seeing Hachiko and understanding more of the culture. So I think for a week it was pretty eye-opening.
Yeah, really.
Gundam.
Gundam, of course, yeah. Gundam.
Yeah, we
I went back to Ireland and was like, Japan has Gundam, quick. Yeah, give them whatever they want.
お台場のガンダムね、安川さんは連れて行ったんです。僕ちょっとその時行けなかったです。
Actually, I think we were waiting for James in the airport and then directly go to the Odaiba to see the Gundam. So,
Gundam was changing. Now it's Unicorn Gundam かなんかやってるね。
変形しますよ。
You see that? Not yet?
I did. I went to the Gundam.
oh wow.
Even more worried. But that was also so kind for you to meet me at the airport and make sure I didn't get lost, because I got lost a lot back then. So it was a really like a very special trip and meaningful in many different ways, but for CoderDojo, for me personally.
Yeah. And after the first dojo session, we starting I think that the second CoderDojo is open up, and the third one is from the CoderDojo Okinawa, and then Takashi, one of the board member in the CoderDojo Japan, bringing the CoderDojo community to the Kansai, the western area in Japan. And then after that, in Hokkaido, in Hiroshima, in Nara, everywhere in Japan. So I think you visited again in Japan. And then I heard you going around around Japan, so from the top and the bottom. And then maybe I think you see many CoderDojo communities in each area, right?
Yeah, I visited a few different CoderDojos from Nagoya and Nara. And of course, we made bottle rockets. So I think that was very good to see. I think with Japan also, when I was first here, I was trying to understand I suppose the cultural effects, and I know particularly in Japan, like everybody seems to be a hard worker. Crazy, puts everybody else to shame. So understanding then that I think that at the weekends that people would volunteer. Volunteering is always a very special thing, but seeing it in Japan at the weekend and so many different community members coming together, I think it's special everywhere. But I gain more of an appreciation of what makes Japan's approach to it special. And I think going around and like hearing about dojo hopping, like that's awesome. Seeing that, I think like wherever I travel, but particularly in Japan, and seeing everything across, like in just outside Nara, I went to one dojo we went to was being held in a temple, which was really amazing to see, which was so that was really amazing to see. So I don't know, I feel like I'm repeating myself. Everything's amazing. That's the truth.
First of all, you visiting the Hokkaido?
I went to, my first week I went to Takayama, and then went up to Hokkaido. Not that I knew anything much about Hokkaido, but I kind of figured that at least go to the top of the country and see if I was up there. So then, in the last, I guess, 2 months, I've been to, other than Hokkaido or Sapporo and Takayama, to Nagoya and Kyoto, Osaka, Nara, Hiroshima.
Hiroshima?
Yeah, and then Hakone. A few different. Didn't quite make it to Okinawa.
The next time.
Next time.
So cool. Oh, that's special another guest. 大丈夫です。ちょっと子供が見学してましたんで。はい。何の話してたっけ？ドジョホッピングの話か。the one question I come up with. So, you now are kind of the long time vacation or just working remotely?
So right now I've taken a break from a lot of things. So I spent the last, I guess, 4 or 5 years. So I spent the last 4 years in the Middle East. And we were just talking about before this that there was, I think, until the age of 21 was working on CoderDojo full time. And then it got to a point where one, it completely outgrew me. So there was a lot of, I think, directions and particularly in the foundation structure that needed to be there, which I simply didn't have the experience with. So a lot of days I was waking up in the morning being like, oh, I hope I don't mess everything up today. So I think it was time for a more structured approach and people with more experience. And then also for me personally, it was time for me to get more experience and go, having worked in CoderDojo for 3 years was fantastic and I was very passionate, but I wanted to go and work on building things and in web apps and really explore a lot of that area. So an opportunity came up to become CTO of a daily deals company based in the Middle East, which was good. It was large already and established. It had been around for 3 or 4 years. And it was going to be a very quick way to find out if I was actually good at programming or if I thought that I was good. But fortunately was able to make improvements there and introduce new things. And then for the last 2 years worked on building online supermarkets in the Middle East and working with a number of interesting challenges from logistics because we had delivery vans and real-time tracking to scaling to building systems that are right to left in an Arabic and Arabic classes. So I think that was a very good time, and I achieved a lot of things I wanted to do as a programmer, and learned a lot of new skills. I finally found out what a HR department does, and operations team and all that. So right now I've been taking a break and still involved with different things, but reflecting more on my own skill set and learnings from the last few years.
It seems really like a startup, so working not only programming but also doing many things, many tasks to be done. So and I think you should be kind of almost always busy to do this. That's I think that one of the common theme in startups. So and you have many responsibility to be done. So
and a lot of I think the theme consistency was learning and always new challenge. So if I think about the last 4 years, every single day I was learning. Every single day I was facing something that I got more comfortable over time, but regularly there was a lot of times I didn't know what to do or have to get guidance or coaching. So I think after a certain point of learning every day, which is good and healthy, you need to kind of take a step back and let it let it sink in or digest it. So that's been good, and I think there's other areas that I want to explore. Building products has been fun, but looking at how we can use build tools and services to help people in other ways. I'm very interested in people's mental health. Gotten into fitness a lot more and habits and productivity. So I think that there's a lot of learnings that I have now over the last 4 years, and I want to see how I can use them.
Cool. I think most of the people in the CoderDojo community, in Japan at least, I'm running another company, and but also I belong to the CoderDojo community, and I think Junya-san also running the community to build web services, but also he's also in the CoderDojo community. So I think that both experiences kind of is beneficial for each other. So your experiences might be good for running the CoderDojo or for example, talking how to do the startup or maybe pros and cons or something.
I think I learned like when with CoderDojo early on, and it was almost like a strange way to get into. But when we early on in CoderDojo, we're like, well, how do we know if we're making an impact? So in a business, you can kind of understand that, like we're either making enough money to pay our bills or not. So you can measure it in that way. In CoderDojo, you're like, okay, are kids having a good time and learning? Well, how do we measure that? That's not a really like no Google Analytics for that. So I think going into having been so much in the non-profit and volunteer world, where you're trying to do social good, and then having an opportunity to go into the for-profit world, and you can see that everything is done on budgets and it's on financial, and maybe people are less forgiving, which can be good. I used to be very, very late for things. Definitely, I started showing up to things more in time. So that provided a really interesting and a very important learning and insight. So now when I would look at, I think for or non-profit organizations or volunteering, I have more experience from the for-profit world on how to organize that and what could be affected there. Which was, I mean, from an individual, I'm pretty sure like a lot of people are hearing this and being like, well, that's obvious. I'm like, well, like for me, it was personal. It takes me longer to get things.
You said next month? No, in the end of this month, you will go back. But what's your plan until when you will take a break, and maybe you have a plan in your mind that what you will do next?
I would hope so.
Or it's maybe
Yeah, I think so at the moment I've been very focused on actually having a happy and balanced day to day. So work was my passion for a long time, and I invested so much time into it. But having spent more time day to day on just coding for fun or for projects, and without the kind of, I guess, the targets or anything or business pressure hanging over it, or reading again and on a variety of subjects, everything from like psychology to sleep to science fiction. So I don't really know what the future holds. I have found out though from a lot of thinking in this time, a lot of hiking, with a lot of elderly people in Japan. I found out old people in Japan really love to hike, so it's basically me and them. Reflecting that, what gives me the most joy in life has been helping people and seeing other people have benefit. So I think ultimately that's what I want to do and what I want to affect. And I think there's different ways that you can do that in a big way. I definitely have more experience and learnings on how to organize and how to build things. But I would say irrespective of my future, I am still very passionate about finding new ways to help people.
Anytime you need a vacation, just going back to Japan. So.
I've got a lot of friends now in their 70s, so we just go for walks in mountains.
Yeah, and getting back to the topic about the startup and project, the building something cool. So I think Yuki-san, Mihashi-san, is also building the web services and by using Ruby on Rails.
Oh, favorite.
And as I said before, there is many things to think about, to consider. So how to get the users and how to get the active users and how to kind of the financially how to continue the financially. So it's really many things.
So I mean, when you're building a web app, what's most important for you? Is it the code? Is it how do you get people to use it? Is it solving the problem?
チップスの話をしてて、自分のサービス作るときに、何を重視してますか、一番。
日本語で。
どうぞ、日本語で。I'm translating into English after that.
まず、ウェブサービスに限らない話なんですけど、自分がなんか作りたいっていう、使いたいみたいなのが一番にあって、でそれを作っていく上では、デザインって言ってもいろいろあるんですけど、使ってもらうデザインとかもそうですし、なんか結構母親とかにも使いやすいデザインとか、なんか結構有名なサービスでも使いにくいなみたいな ところもあるんですよ。で、そういったところがない、できるだけないように工夫するのが結構楽しいです。
She's kind of the first of all, she'd like to be an active user of her web services. So kind of dog fooding, things like that. And also that she also focusing on the user experiences. And her web services is kind of the SNS, social network services for 家事ってなんて言うんですかね。
Housework.
So
tips. So it's like a user-generated kind of user. The user will post the tips of the houseworks.
And then the sharing it, posting it. So she focusing on what is a good user experiences to post and the user experiences to see, to watch. So and her mother is also the one of the users of her services. So user interviewing in the family or something. So that is a kind of she's now thinking about the important.
So I think that
for your mom.
We have the most important user, number one. So yeah, I think those those values on creating and building are fantastic. Like I think what I've seen definitely in the for-profit world is and it's the natural thing, but so much it's based on like revenue or how can we extract more, or there's so much time pressures, which can, I think if you think of like a day-to-day happiness, it can remove a lot of the fun and happiness from, maybe this is the extreme, but when you get to work on something where like your number one problem isn't, how fast do we get this feature out to have more revenue, it's, are the people who are most important to me getting value and benefit from it, or are they enjoying it? It seems to be a value set that brings a lot more happiness in life, which particularly, I don't know, like for me is like I see programming and creating web apps as a craft, and like it's equally as important to know how to do something as quickly and hacky and not over engineer or make something too technical. When that's like the direction that you're going in, it's I feel like you sleep way better at night. So I'm really happy to hear that.
Are you saying there is some kind of gap when you're pursuing your happiness or with your friends or your people around you, and pursuing profit and revenue sometimes? Right,
and like when you see so many web apps that are there, I think today are around trying to like get more money out of people or spend in new ways or in an existing market, and I think that that's necessary and it has to happen if it genuinely helps people. But for me, programming has always gone beyond a job, and maybe this is like what I felt when I started doing it when I was young, and the reward was actually programming itself. It wasn't I had whatever hourly rate or something, and I found for many years it's very easy to get caught up in the reward is, let's say it's financial or something, but when it shifts and that's a kind of a byproduct or by the side, and that what you're creating is rewarding in and of itself, it makes it a lot happier, and I think that there's a balance. Like you can definitely go to the extreme and probably make more money by like being purely focused on what features will generate more revenue rather than make somebody's life better, but that's a big thing I've been thinking about more recently. Like if you're programming, like you could probably make more money programming or making X, but you could probably be happier by making Y, and that's gonna be worth more than the money you would make from making X. See, too much hiking. I've had too much time to think.
Maybe CoderDojo people can pursue both, working a weekday, like yes, Kawa-san have his own business and doing this CoderDojo thing weekends. So maybe they got both. So I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, I see it more and more the balance. I've worked in a lot of environments that have been kind of very work focused, and particularly being around a lot of people who are very work focused, and as I've seen in like the startup world as well, that kind of all consumes people. But it's but yeah, I think it's like one of the things I've seen with CoderDojo is that everybody's united by the fact that programming or coding has been another way of making, and it's been a source of fun, and it doesn't have to stay restricted, or that attitude doesn't have to be restricted as a hobby. And like definitely the last few things I've built over the years have been a lot of fun and been very challenging, and those have been the best aspects of it. There's been many other rewarding aspects, but now I'm looking more as to in life, how do you increase that side of it, or you have the right value set to it. So when I see young people in CoderDojo who are and it's been I think one of the philosophies from day one, but that it continues, that they're making things because it brings value and it's fun, and it doesn't have to be the most technically impressive, or it doesn't have to, use the most complex approach or the newest language, but so long as its direction is providing a good experience to somebody and doing value. And if you're like the most important person you're making for it is your mom, then that's a wonderful relationship to have with it.
Yeah, I think she's the once, I think 2 or 3 years ago, she's a ninja, but she was a ninja, but she's now youth mentor, and she's now developing the web services for her and for her mother. So I think that is a kind of good cycle. Maybe, so in the CoderDojo community is, in my opinion, kind of it maybe the sustainable for as a ninja, as a youth mentor, maybe after the youth champion to run the CoderDojo for future generation.
I think that sense of time, I mean, back here 6 years later, it's a good sense, right? That that the one of the, I think, the powerful things about CoderDojo is when young people become mentors, and I think a lot of people talk about it because they might be able to describe it better or know, but I think when they start organizing it and taking, say, more organizational control, the CoderDojo could change a lot. There might be new concepts introduced, or like new events, like DojoCon came from community. Coolest projects came from the community. We've seen things like sushi cards or resources or different games. But when we have a member of CoderDojo who's been there for a few years or learned how to program through CoderDojo, we'll maybe see things that they could improve, or new things that other mentors haven't seen before. I think like we're almost at that point in CoderDojo's like lifetime that there could be members who started when they were maybe like 12 and are like 19 now, or 18 or 19, and they'll start implementing new things or thoughts that they've had, and that's really exciting because it maybe adds to a whole new level. But I'm also very conscious that like someday we'll be very outdated. So we'll be outdated, that we won't know the best way. I also think that that's like another part of fun. Like, do you find teaching people fun?
教えるよりもなんかコミュニケーションする方が
She likes to do a communication rather than teaching, just a kind of a peer learning rather than teaching something. So that is her
教え
favorite.
ることよりも一緒に問題を解決するみたいな、そっちがメインなので
So solving problems together with ninjas, that is fun for her. So that might be including the teaching, but the basically for kind of the doing the communication and then solving problems together.
That's like I think maybe another wonderful aspect in like the journey. If you begin as a attendee or learning, and then you get into mentoring, and then into organizing. I think maybe someone's relationship with CoderDojo can change several times in their life.
あと、そしてですね、ちょっと、また、ワンモアゲストが、なんかこう、もしよかったら、なんかちょっと軽く自己紹介もしてもらってもいいですか？
I'm Yosuke. I'm started the activity of CoderDojo recently, and I'm joined several dojo in Tokyo and Kanagawa Prefecture, such as Ochanomizu, Ikebukuro, Yokohama, Akihabara. And I enjoy the programming with kids there. And I work for the telecommunication company in Japan.
He's really, really going around dojo to dojo, like a dojo hopping.
4 times in last month.
いつ頃コーダー道場にメンターとして、初めてのメンターっていつ頃ですか？
お茶の水で 9月か10月
今
ですかね。
年の、
はい。
So very, very recently, just September this year, and joining the CoderDojo community, and then start dojo hopping very rapidly. So maybe every week or so.
Almost.
Almost every week.
And I met 宮島さん。who is in the Kashiwa. And he did the presentation in the event named TEDx Kids at Chiyoda. And I joined the workshop organizer for kids there. And I met him and I know the keyword of CoderDojo. Yeah.
The Kiriya is one of the board members of CoderDojo Japan, and
yes.
yeah, he is running the CoderDojo community in the especially Chiba Prefecture area as a leadership, and yeah, and I think the one of the good aspect of CoderDojo community is anytime you find out the CoderDojo community, anytime you join. So it's not so important to know the CoderDojo in 2012 or 2011. No, just this 2018 is no problem. It's just joining and going around the dojo to dojo as a mentor or as a champion. So I think that's kind of aspect is one of the points I like. So
I mean, let me I guess flip the question, right? So in the 6 years since we were here, what do you think of CoderDojo Japan? It's obviously like growing. There's been DojoCon Japan. There's like very involved community members, and there's been people who've now I guess grown up in 6 years doing it. So, what have you felt about CoderDojo in Japan in the last 6 years?
The question is what?
Yeah, I mean,
What do you think about
if you
CoderDojo
compare
Japan?
6 years ago to now,
6年前と比べて
there's more, but do you think that the
more people
feeling of community has changed, improved?
now it's every year easy to join in the community by comparing with 2012 because 2012 there is no CoderDojo Japan. I mean the CoderDojo.jp, and there is no Japanese kata yet, and so it's really difficult to kind of the how to start a CoderDojo and what is the good resources to run the CoderDojo in the area. But now there is many resources posting from each area in Japan. And then the one more good point is almost in each area in Japan there is a champion. So that's you can just visit the CoderDojo, existing CoderDojo, and then they can get and ask the lesson learned things and what is a good way to run the dojo. So every year easy to start to join the CoderDojo community. That is really changing from 2012, I think. And then so I every time I say anytime you can join, just so yeah, being kind of being cool for everyone who are interested in CoderDojo community. So just watching, that's just still okay. So anytime you're okay, just come here to enjoy, to watching around. That's the kind of I think that's important to be more friendly and cool community as a CoderDojo.
I mean, I've seen that the community is very close. From the events or even on Facebook, like everybody is friends with everybody. So it's been really wonderful to see it that that level of community, I guess.
Yeah, as for me, it's I'm still the champion of now the CoderDojo Chofu. It's what drives me to the CoderDojo is just fun tell the kids how fun the programming is. But as the community grew, since 6 years ago, I could meet many people now, and there is a DojoCon or the CoderDojo. There are a lot of variety, like there is the CoderDojo in the ships or the Starbucks or like a DojoCon or like a pet bottle, plastic bottle workshop is another thing. So you can see a lot of different ideas from every dojo. So
do you think that so I might be wrong in this thinking, but when I was here 6 years ago, there was I think we were talking about volunteering in Japan, and there seems to be a lot of people who naturally will do things that are good for the community, or will be very things are very clean. So unlike other countries, there's not really a need to go like do volunteer picking up trash, or there's less homelessness than other. So it almost seems that there wasn't as many requirements or needs for volunteering. But do you think in the last 6 years, volunteering and non-profits have increased in Japan, or there's been a change in relationship?
your question is changing?
Or has it changed? Maybe it hasn't.
Maybe.
Yeah, or people wanting to do it, or becoming more common. That it may be.
In my feeling, it depending on the fields. In the IT community fair, there is a Ruby community, PHP community, Python community in Japan as well. And each community, it's really easy to kind of do the volunteering for kids. That's kind of becoming a common sense in the especially open source communities in Japan. That's one of the changes from 2012. But the point is open source community is still not so big by comparing with other fields like logistics field and how can I say the lawyers, or there are many people in the world. So yeah. So for the other area rather than IT, it's I think still doesn't change. I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, but maybe eventually change because like crowdfunding or open source. It's like community is. He said it has not changed, but maybe more and more.
More and more. Yeah, I agree. But
not so dramatically, but
purely, engineers like to, help each other. Of course, as Kasan said, open source community, it's the basics of this activity. So, well, I don't think that the requirement of volunteering has been, changing, particularly.
How about PR field? PR, press release, or marketing field? There is a volunteering community or something.
I don't know, but for me, maybe it might be just because about the generations, like it is often said that millennials, value a lot about their, nature and non-financial values, So I think that the generations are mixed, different, making it different values. So it might be changing. I don't know.
Because I think in this trip to Japan, maybe I've had some new perspectives, and I've definitely seen a lot more big corporations and a lot more of a. I would say, what would I say? I would say, I guess a lot of corporations that startups and kind of maybe smaller communities have increased, but there seems to be definitely big corporate culture and maybe lifestyle, at least in the cities and to a degree outside. And a lot of people are now, I guess, moving from the countryside, right? There's like a lot of empty homes in the countryside that the government is trying to, I heard, even give away for free now. So as you're saying about millennials and the value set changing.
Mark Zuckerberg, he's changed, you know. Many people say so. Maybe he used to be, well, I didn't say so, but people say he used to be a little bit, arrogant, but now he is so keen to, for philanthropy activities to nurture children, people, and help each other. Facebook is now, one of the biggest company in the world, right? And he is now investing so much in education, for example, help children in Africa. And so maybe so globally, people have changed a little.
In Japan, do you think that people's values are changing as well?
Yeah.
They're moving away from the kind of the corporate lifestyle or value set, more into individualism or
for example, there is if we start the CoderDojo before the open source communities, I mean Ruby, Python, PHP communities come up, then I maybe failed to make it a bigger community, or even the co-working community. There are many co-working spaces in Japan, and most of the CoderDojos have a relationship with co-working space. So some dojos run on the co-working space, and it's if there is no co-working communities, and then we start the CoderDojo, then we may be difficult to find the venues to start. So I think it's really good timing to start. We have already there is a community. Already there is a co-working spaces community, and also like a Progate. There is startups to kind of have a partnership with the CoderDojo community. That's the really kind of the good one of the maybe prerequisites or something to make it a bigger community.
Seems like and also an important time for, I guess if we look at technology around us, everything is becoming more and more boxed in. We there's less and like say iOS or Android, there's less rough edges or less ways you can break it, or where a lot of control is being removed away, where a lot of, I guess, people don't even know or maybe care how to create things or wouldn't even think about it. They don't have to, but then as a result you have more I guess that's dangerous because people aren't aware about how on like social networking sites that there's algorithms powering what they see. Like on Instagram, if you see, if you follow 100 people, you're only going to see like the very 10 best things that they post. And even that, those things that people have posted are only the very best things that they do. So you can get a distorted way of the world. So I think even like the knowledge to know that people are being, how these are created and what people are being shown, and that you, as much as you could change it, create your own thing, understanding how these also work before it goes too far, before it becomes too magic, is important timing.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, good timing. And also we have covered many topics in this podcast.
6 years is too long.
6 years too long, right. Yeah, I think there's just episode 10, but I think I believe you come again to Japan. So come to Japan again. So maybe next year or next year. So
now that I have the Passmo, I have to come back. Committed.
Yeah. So
yeah, I'd love to just pose one question before we wrap. I'd really appreciate to hear, I guess, what the each person thinks is the most important component of, I guess, young people making and doing with coding now. Maybe a nice sentiment to go on. So I talked about definitely like the values that people have and when they create something, but when it comes to young people learning how to code, what do you think is the most important thing or factors around it? For you?
I think I'm learning programming and for fun. So not for getting the good grades or something, but building the community, building the web services for, at least for me, to be fun. So when I teach or when I talk with the kids and not only kids but also any person I talk, what I often ask them, what is you like? What you like to do? What do you like to program? So the point is what you like to do. So not what other person asks you to do. So and I run the programming a lot, and I like to share such experiences with any person, including kids. That's one of the reasons of why I still keep belonging to, and also the improving help all of the CoderDojo community's people. So
it's fun. I mean, in Japan right now we will be in difficult situation because in 2020 the coding will start in the elementary school. So what will happen is
Be all
like
cool.
like math or like English. Well, when teacher teach coding in school, it's kind of shinpai. It's we're concerned, but I think the CoderDojo is like kind of counter culture to the traditional education. So, at least I want to keep that to have the same policy that the coding is fun, and what's important for me is just how I can tell the kids the programming is fun. So yeah. So yeah.
Well, actually, I'm not an engineer myself. I'm still learning. And actually, my company, of course, most of them are engineers. Sometimes I envy them. I'm the first employee who cannot code.
You've got a fantastic experience.
yeah, great perspective.
I've been struggling myself.
So what do you see from it?
I also actually have 2 kids. I'm a mom of 2, and they never like being told, what to do. So I think the most, especially for kids, it's just so important to respect their idea, and just I just try to help them to just focus on what they want to do, and if they do not want it, if it's it's a really nice day, and if they want to just go and play football in the park, I think that's okay. They should do that, not just stay around in the house and being scolded by mom to learn coding. It's so ridiculous. So the most important thing is just respect their and their idea, and just leave them, don't teach.
Explore.
So I myself actually I have to learn to code. Especially I'm a marketer, so for example SQL or Python, data science is so helpful in business. So I am really motivated in that area. So for grown-ups, maybe it's good. It might be good to have some kind of specific goal, specific target to learn to code.
It's I guess it's empowering. I mean, for at least my experience over the last few years, there's always been somebody in marketing or operations who hates technology people because they take so long to get back reports. So if you do learn SQL or you can query yourself, it's empowering to achieve.
Have fun. もうやっぱりなんだろう、親とかにやりなさいとか言われるんじゃなくて、なんかやりたくて楽しみでやるみたいなのが多分一番良いと思って。
She hates being told what to do. I know.
なんか将来プログラマーになるためにプログラミングを勉強するっていうことをしたい人だったら、まあそれはいいと思うんですけど、本当にプログラミングを学ぶだけなら楽しんで学んだ方が絶対いいと思います。そっちの方が後々楽しかったなってなると思うので。はい。
So telling children like you're going to be a programmer to make money or work in, for example, in more flexible way, which is very attractive, and to in a working environment aspect, but that never worked for children. They
don't care about that.
They don't care.
More important things to.
If it's boring, they never interested. So.
One lucky point is she's now kind of one of the model case of grow up in the community, and then she's now building the web services, and then she thinks having fun is a good point. So that's many parents or people who see what the important to learn the programming is fun. So
absolutely. And one thing that I felt with CoderDojo, it's a great place to find out if you hate programming, which is also very important. And I mean, in Ireland for a long time, we had a big problem of over 50% dropping out of computer science in university because they would, because they didn't know what it was. So it's a great place to find out what you like and don't like. And then also I think it would be terrible if too many young people went into startups or the technology fields, that they go into government or into agriculture or into like fishing or whatever industry, and that they are able to do things more effectively or build solutions or take even just that thinking. That's where the real opportunity is. So for me, I was worried for a long time. A lot of parents kind of see like, we'll get our kid to be a programmer and this will be them up. And I understand that it's a pace of love where they want the best for their child, but the fun aspect of it, and then if it can be a skill set that can help the child when they grow up to do more in whatever they're passionate about they choose, that's I think the really important thing for me, what I see.
プログラミングに大事なことは何だと。
So I have a same opinion with her and have fun and 探求心 exploring the new things and I enjoy it. It's new things and it's strange or it's very enjoyable thing. And now I like the gadget and the new made some product made by new technology and some gadget it's very good for kids and I bought many gadgets and I brought bring to some dojo and I like the reasonable product which is the kids can buy and use them by themselves and control the programming such as Scratch or block coding similar to the Scratch. And they can use, not only use them, but also children can use, not only use, but also change or make themselves the new things similar to that or other things. I love this situation and I like the smile, enjoying the kids enjoying that new things and play with or
I think, sorry to interrupt. I think most of the mentors in the CoderDojo community, at least in Japan, they themselves like to build something and with kids. So that's kind of the building together. So kind of the age is, it doesn't matter. Technology is really fun. So just buying the gadget or touching the new technology and then building something beyond the age. So that's the kind of the one of the aspect of the CoderDojo community.
And design and art, maybe she like 技術ガジェットだけじゃなくてデザインするとか何か絵を描くとかそういった方向のアート系のことっていうのも多分プログラミングと融合するものだし、そういうのも子供たちと一緒になんか描いてみるとか、自分もボランティアでよく絵を描いてって言われて描いたりとかそういうので。
Yeah, that's it. I think CoderDojo community can do anything, to build something, like the bottle rocket. Last week we built the bottle rocket, and by the way, in the bottleneck rocket, we put in the small camera into the bottle rocket and then just launch it.
So it's a try and error, so same as program.
Yeah.
Did you lose the camera?
Yeah.
Camera's in space now.
The sad news is we failed to record. Yeah, but doing something, building something is still fun. Yeah,
that's what it's all about.
Yeah. So many topics we cover. じゃあthank you for all coming into the DojoCast. じゃあこれでスペシャルゲストも交えたその第10回のDojoCastを終わりにしようと思います。ありがとうございました。ありがとうございました。
Are you come to based in Tokyo?
Yeah, from Nagoya.
Yeah, but
いろんなところで英語でフォローしていただいて、完全に途中からなんかこう頭がよくわからない。